Been that day. Ready? Okay, thank you. We'll call the special council meeting for Thursday, April 30th, 2024 to session or to order. Our purpose for tonight's meeting is to first is for interviews with prospective candidates to fill the city council vacancy. I want to thank you both for coming, Mr. London, Mr. Whitworth.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your application, and it's nice to see people willing to step in. Thank you very much. With that, I will hand it over to the city administrator to get us started.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. Good evening, Nisswa City Council. Tonight, the City Council seeks to fill a vacancy that exists on our council. My role tonight is to help facilitate the interview process. The city received 3 letters of interest in the vacancy. However, one person has withdrawn their name, and therefore tonight the City Council will be interviewing 2 candidates. Welcome, Mr. Bruce London and Mr. Kevin Whitworth. The city appreciates your interest in serving the Nisswa community. We have, we didn't quite draw names out of a bowl. I just had a conversation with the gentleman, and they were gracious to not have a concern with who will answer the first question, et cetera. So we agreed that Mr. London will answer the first question, and then Mr. Whitworth will answer the question following him. And then Mr. Whitworth will answer the second question first, and we'll go back and forth that way.
Very good.
Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. There are 4 scripted questions, and I will read the questions on behalf of the City Council. I will provide a signal when there are 30 seconds remaining and when time is up if you need the full time. If you don't, that's just fine. If a council member has a question they would like asked, there will be an opportunity for that following the scripted questions. So I will pause and ask if there's any council questions you have. Each candidate will have an opportunity to answer the questions asked by the council members. Each candidate will also have an opportunity at the end for a 2-minute closing statement if you choose. Once the interviews are complete, the City Council will deliberate which candidate you feel would be the best fit to fill the vacancy. A resolution has been provided to you that the council should use as part of the motion to make the appointment that should be read into the record. For the council's information, you can appoint someone tonight to be effective immediately. And we can work through the swearing in of the person and go through that process so that they are official right away. Or you can make an appointment to commence on a specific date if it's not tonight. So that's also up to you to discuss once you're done with the interview process. I will pause to see if there are any questions before we begin.
No. Jesse? None. Joe? Okay, we're good.
Wonderful. With that, our first question will go to Mr. London. Mr. London, why is serving on the City of Nisswa City Council important to you? Does your interest stem from a personal interest or goal?
I've lived in the Brainerd Lakes area for 46 years, 42 of those years as a resident of the city of Nisswa. I've been encouraged. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
I've been encouraged to run for city council during my residency of the city of Nisswa here. Recently, I was at a retirement party over at your community center, and for Bruce Edberg, a first responder, and that's when I made my decision to go ahead and run for city council. And I thought, I saw all these volunteers, firefighters, EMS, first responders, and I thought, these people do so many great things for the community. It's about time I step up and make a commitment. So shortly thereafter, I called City Hall, and it was just the right time. I indicated interest of running for city council. I then learned of the vacant seat. So I said, well, what do you got to do to file or do this? And I asked for a packet which detailed running for office in the city of Nisswa and so forth. I also got the 2030 comprehensive plan. So I got the information, I looked at the packet, and I read and reviewed the comprehensive plan. I became more interested, okay? So then I went ahead and next thing I knew, I got an email about the letter of interest. And I submitted my letter of interest indicating an interest to apply for this vacant seat. And many of you probably saw the letter that I submitted, okay?
30 seconds.
So I plan on running in the election this fall. And I've gotten support in my interest in that from people I know that live within the community. And I've got work experience, I've got life experience. And I think I feel that I can be helpful to our community. I want to become a member of the Nisswa City Council, keep Nisswa the community that it has become. Nice place to live and a great place to visit. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitwer, why is serving on the City of Nisswa City Council important to you? Does your interest stem from a personal interest or goal?
Well, I don't think you could call it a personal interest other than the fact that as a former council member, I understand the process. I looked and I saw that there was an opening and I thought, well, you know, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should go and take my turn. You know, they call it a term, but sometimes it's a turn because it's a responsibility of all individuals to care for the community they live in and to keep it moving forward and moving along in a good direction. So that's basically my thoughts.
Thank you. The second question will begin with Mr. Whitwer. How would you describe your leadership style and how do you believe it would benefit the City Council and City of Nisswa?
I was a postmaster for 20 years. I managed many employees. My style is to be fair but firm. I believe we have regulations, we have things that are supposed to be done, things that need to be done, and they need to be done in a correct manner. And I have expectations of employees, and they had expectations of me. And I tried to make sure that their expectations of me were met constantly. Not always successful, of course, because I had expectations of me from other people also. But I like to consider the situation, consider my options, and then act. You won't see me acting without careful thought.
Thank you. Mr. London, how would you describe your leadership style and how do you believe it would benefit the City Council and City of Nisswa?
Well, as a police officer,
You can use your microphone, please.
yep, sorry about that.
That's
again.
okay.
Okay, as a police officer with my life and work experience, I've been involved in a lot of different things. Worked as a police officer for 30 years and a lot of good experience working with other city agencies, county, state, federal, familiar with the surrounding area. And I feel that my work and experience as a police officer would be an asset in leadership and working on the city council in the best interest of the city here. As a police investigator, I learned to gather all the facts before I made a decision. And I have learned respect and I've got patience and understanding for the needs of the public. And I think I can put that to use in benefiting our community and our city as a leader being on the city council. I understand public safety and I've worked with the police, fire, ambulance, and other EMS services. I'm real familiar with this area, Nisswa and the surrounding area. And I've got a handle on the area. I'm an avid outdoorsman. I've got an appreciation for the lakes, the forests, and the trails. There's a lot of things that are important in Nisswa. And I think my experience can be an asset, can be an advocate to the city area. I'm an advocate of the tourism and the impact it has on the community in the city of Nisswa. I'm willing to make the necessary commitment at this time to support the residents and the entire area as a whole, including our resorts and our local businesses, which are so important. I feel that my experience and desire will be an asset to this city council, and hope I can be part in making the decisions and the leader in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. London, if you heard about something that concerns you in the city, as a council member, what steps would you take to see that this concern is resolved?
I would gather all the information, I'd do my research, and I would share my findings with other members of the council, including yourself, and my findings. And I would make sure that the information I got was adequate, share that with my fellow councilmen to come up with the best decision to resolve the situation.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Being responsive to the citizens of the city is job number one for a city council person, I would assume. And both Bruce and I worked in government positions, so to speak, so we understand chain of command very well. So that would be how it would be handled, how I would handle. I would work at chain of command and go down from there. It would be, I'm not exactly sure how the city has that set up, if it's through the mayor or through the administrator or the council in general, but that would be something that would be known. So that's how I'd proceed and find out what's going on and just get to the bottom of it and make a decision.
Thank you. Mr. Whitwer, if the city could make one change or improvement, what would that change or improvement be?
In one word, parking. That's always been a premium. We know it, but it's not a tough thing to fix. And we want as many people in town as we can have at all times. But I think that's one of our major issues is just getting the vehicles in here so that we can have the people come and spend time in a great city.
Thank you. Mr. London, if the city could make one change or improvement, what would that change or improvement be?
Well, I would stay on track with what Nisswa is. You can go a long ways away. Everybody knows where Nisswa is. It's a draw. Tourism is the #1 industry in this area, and I would work on improving it as a bigger draw. It's what brings people in the area. It's our economy and things like that. I think it's very important, so I would work on promoting that.
Great, thank you. Mr. Ryan, members of the council, those are the 4 scripted questions we have tonight. Does the council, I'll turn it back to Mayor Ryan if you would like to open up to any questions from the council.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Fraley, do you have any questions that you wanted to ask?
Just one apiece.
Both they'll answer, each one will answer the,
Yep.
if they wish.
Mr. London, you said that, what in the compensation study, 2030 compensation study intrigued you?
What's that?
What in the compensation study intrigued you? What
Comp.
did you like or not like?
It's a plan moving forward. You know, you've got your short term, your mid range, and your long range goals and stuff, and it kind of spells it all out. It talks all about the city, you know, where the city, how it initiated and where it's at, where it's going in the plan. It talks about the trails, how important they are, tourism and stuff like that. You know, the whole area, the whole picture. This was a draw, the festivals that we have here. You know, it spells it all out, the plan, and it's a good plan. And it looks forward to the future of Nisswa. And by following this and you know, reading this and learning about it, gave me a better idea of, you know, what needs to be done to keep the city just what it is, so it moves forward and preserves it as a tourist draw.
Mr. Whitmer?
Comprehensive plan is a living document. It's made to be, look into the future, but of course, we never know what that future brings. And it's made to be a guideline for what we think is going to happen and how to proceed with those things. Some of it is set in, more in stone, as in streets and that sort of thing, where you think your expansion is. Other parts of it are not necessarily that way. So we have to look at it in a big picture of what's actually happening in real time as we go.
This is for both of you also. Starting with Mr. Whitmer. So we have the compensation study and we're trying to go in a direction with Nisswa. Where do you foresee, what is the direction you see Nisswa going in?
And if you don't mind grabbing your microphone. Thank you.
Is it too close? We, the direction of Nisswa is fairly well set. I mean, we are an enclosed community. We're a half of a township. We know exactly how big we are. We know where our growth areas are. We know where we're setting. And we are a tourism destination, but we're also a destination for people. People come, you talk to people everywhere and you say Nisswa and they go, oh yeah, I know Nisswa, that's great. I can't wait to get there. I was there all the time. So really that's our bread and butter, is the tourism and the ability to draw people and to support our businesses and to support the community in general. Residentially, I see growth. I mean, we look at the ability to grow that we're doing right out here. And, you know, I just built my house here in the last 2 years. So so I understand that growth part too for the residential part. And so it's a hand in glove. It's not only the residents, but the people that come and want to spend time here and be here with us.
Mr. London? So, what direction do you see Nisswa going in?
I think it's gonna continue to be a draw. We've got some resorts here that can accommodate, conventions and things like that. It's gonna continue to get bigger and better and draw more people. You look at the city of city of Minneapolis, how bad things are down there. People wanting to put on conventions, conferences and things like that, probably don't want to go there anymore. So why not come to Nisswa and be safe and look at the beautiful area and enjoy yourself while you're up here, and visit the shops and stuff like that, and go home, tell your family about it, maybe bring your grandkids and your family back up to Nisswa and come on back, spend some money up here and support our community.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yep.
I guess just kind of an open-ended question for you both, but is there anything else about yourselves that you'd like to share with us that hasn't been, I guess, asked? Just something that, hey, this is what I'd like people to know about me.
We can start with Mr. Lennon if you have anything, or if you don't, that's fine too.
Or do you want to do you want to answer that at the end with a closing statement? I didn't know, whichever, doesn't matter.
Just,
You want to do the closing statement?
And it leads into it.
it doesn't matter. I just,
Well,
You can certainly incorporate that into
Sure.
your closing statement if that works. So
Sure.
if,
then Jesse, too.
Whenever you're ready.
So I'll be the last one, actually second to last, to Mayor Ryan. Appreciate both of you coming in here and the interest in serving your community. It's a sacrifice. I think you both understand that. There's times that we're away from our families, especially right around supper time when these meetings start on the third Tuesday of every month, but also the liaison committees that we're on as well to support these department staffs. One thing I'd like to ask of both of you, and I'll start with Mr. London. Bruce, if you could provide any insight on how you would have a conflict resolution approach to a specific problem or set of problems, interest staff, and try to finding a solution to move forward with.
Problems with a staff member?
Yeah, conflict solution between staff?
When you sit down, try to be flexible, be open-minded, and, get all the facts and information. And, I don't have any personal agendas. And, get all the information and get the accurate information and don't take sides, okay? And, try to resolve it and do the conflict resolution and work it out in the best interest of everybody, because we all have to work together. And, working as a cop, oftentimes you have conflicts, you have different opinions. You're gonna have that in life. You have that at home with your family, your kids, your wife, or whatever. And, you just gotta work it out. You have to be understanding whether people try to understand their emotions and their feelings and, work it out. And, there's always a way, and there's always a solution to, conflict resolution and things like that, and working problems out. And by being understanding of other people's needs and feelings, be a good listener, and, try to negotiate things out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilbur, same thing for you. How do you approach conflict resolution?
I agree with quite a bit of what he said. I mean, it's basically find the information, see what people are thinking, what they're feeling, and then decide what the facts are, or find the facts as best you can, and work through them in a calm and dispassionate manner. Then of course you have to realize, especially with some of the departments, you got union contracts, so you got to worry about that also, because where does that all fall? Because some things are more cut and dried than others. I worked with unions for many, many years. And you really have to just listen to people and hear what they say and listen to them and see what they're thinking, if you can get down to that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, you actually took my question.
I
Part of it. Well, you didn't.
I figured I would.
He answered my question while answering your question. They both did, so then I don't have to ask it. So we can go ahead with closing statements if you wish.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think we'll start with Mr. Whitwer for your closing statement, if you have anything else to share.
Nothing. I been born and raised in Brainerd, lived all over northern Minnesota. Working for the post office, the town doesn't come to you, you go to the town. So I was a rural carrier here in Nisswa for 5 years, or 7 years actually, in the 90s. Then I moved into management, went to Longville, was postmaster there for 11 or 12 years, and then went to Walker, and I was there for 9 years. And then I retired with not quite 35 years of credible service. And so both Bruce and I we're gonna have time to put into this because we're both retired, and so that helps. Because I do know how much time this does take. I know it's not an easy thing, and working with departments and working with council, working with people. Other than that, basically, I see it as an opportunity to just be involved in the community a little deeper than just participating in events and coming around and hanging around in town. Keeps the information flow better and would help me to be a more effective community member. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lennon, your closing statement.
Thank you. Like I mentioned, I've been a resident in Nisswa 42 years. I'm familiar with the area, Nisswa and the surrounding area. I have 30 years experience working in city government. I've got a positive outlook for our community. I've had great experiences with the city staffers of Nisswa. These people work for the city as employees and volunteers, could write the book of customer service and be a bestseller. Okay? And all these tourists that come up here would stand in line and get their autograph. I've been encouraged to run for public office in City Council of Nisswa. And I've been offered a lot of support in my decision. I'm very grateful for that. I want to become a member of the Nisswa City Council. I'm retired, and I've got time to make this necessary commitment, become a team member on this city council. I want to represent the residents of this community as a whole and working in their best interest for the future of our community. I reviewed this comprehensive plan, and I look forward to participating in the council and helping to make decisions for this future of our community, Nisswa, by collaborating with other council members in the best interest of Nisswa. I'd like to thank you all for your time and consideration and your service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
One final question just for both candidates to confirm. I'm sure you're familiar. Our regular city council meetings are the third Tuesday of the month at 7 PM. And are there any concerns about being able to meet that attendance for those meetings? Very good. Thank you.
Then our next position or the next job for us is to make a decision and go forward. So I am, how do we, if there's anyone wants to start, or we start on the other end, whichever we want to do. What we're thinking for an appointment of the individual, or who we think we want to go with.
Are you opening it for discussion or to make a motion?
Well, we can start with discussion if you want, or we can, you want to start with a motion, you can do that if somebody wants to make one.
See, when I applied 2.5 years ago, I
Yeah,
was the
well,
only one, so.
there were 5
it
of us
was-
when I
You guys
did it.
just said, stay,
Little.
or get out.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me stay, so, and thank you guys for your time coming in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I've had an opportunity to grow up with the London family. They live not too far from where I grew up. I've known their family for a long time. I've had a lot of life experiences with his son Bruce, same age, Bruce Junior. Bruce London Junior and I went to Nisswa Elementary School together, all the way through Brainerd High School, and he was just recently a groomsman at my wedding, and I'll be a groomsman in his this upcoming August. I can speak confidently about what I believe Bruce London Senior's level of integrity is and will be serving on this council. I think Bruce London Senior will provide a good level-headed approach to problem solving, good public service experience with his background in police and law enforcement. Without any, I guess, further direction as to how we go with two individuals, open discussion.
Or make if somebody wants to make a motion, that's up to you.
Okay, I'd be happy to do that if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Please.
with respect, I'd like to make a motion to accept the application for,
So we need to incorporate the resolution. So you can, if you want to make a motion as far as the candidate is great, but then
Then
we
can-
will want to
We can determine after that. if
read,
you-
yes, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
forget the
Yeah.
resolution.
That'll
Thank
be
you.
the next thing.
Sorry about that. Yep.
If we want to make it, what we'll do is we'll make we'll fill the seat, basically find someone or pick one of the two. And then we can discuss it from there. Do we want to, this item here that you all have, we can determine from that point a second motion, correct? That's how we would need to do it. Or do you want? There's that.
Well, in essence, that will be what the resolution is when you make a motion to appoint a candidate.
Okay.
But you can do that, and then let's just read the resolution into the record with
Well,
that candidate.
Making a motion, we can have discussion too, because the other part.
If you
of
want
it
a
is-
motion, a second, and then discussion, that's fine.
Yeah. So,
I'll finish making that motion, make a motion to accept the application for the vacant city council seat for the city of Nisswa, for applicant Bruce London Senior.
Second.
further discussion. The question then, it'll be the resolution appointing city council seat. So do we want to make that immediately upon the vote? Or do we
Yes.
want to, well, or do we want to set a date? So that's the question. Do we want to set a different date?
Just
Like
my,
the upcoming council meeting or something, or
Sure.
whatever. That's up.
I
what
think
does
my,
everyone
I think my thoughts on it, as I was aware that this was gonna be a case, is I think it would be pertinent to have have the individual be here tonight. There's gonna be a good topic discussed in closed session. That's gonna be very impactful for this community. So
That-
I would agree with
So
you.
Joe and, okay, Mark, what do you think? Your opinion?
I'll just say the sooner the better.
I have no problem with it being immediately.
Mhm.
I mean, at all. So so that would be fine. So then it would be the appointment would be immediate tonight, and Kiki has everything she needs to get the individuals or to give her, okay.
Yep.
So we have a motion and a second to appoint Bruce London to fill the vacancy. Do I need to read this whole resolution into it? or
I would
not?
appreciate that, yes. Or appoint,
No,
why don't you could appoint someone to do that as well.
So, the resolution, do we need to vote first or then, or make
Yeah,
this
we
part
need
of
to
it?
vote first.
Read this with the name and then you can vote to approve this.
Got it. Okay, so whereas City Council member Mark Utzinger resigned from his seat of the Nisswa City Council due to a change of residence from the city of Nisswa, and whereas the City Council accepted Mark Utzinger's resignation and declared a vacancy on the City Council, and whereas the circumstances of the unexpired term of Mark Utzinger allow the City Council to fill the vacant City Council seat by appointment, and whereas the City Council vacancy was posted, applications for appointment to the vacant City Council seat were solicited and received from 3 applicants, and whereas at April 30th, 2024 meeting, the City Council interviewed the applicants for the vacant City Council seats, and whereas the City Council finds it appropriate, that's why I was asking, appropriate to appoint. That's why I thought, shouldn't we vote on this before we say this?
No, go ahead, just,
Okay, Bruce
appoint
London to the
Bruce
City
London,
Council
yes.
seat vacated by Mark Utzinger with the appointment term to expire on December 31st, 2024, and that seat to be on the ballot for the general elections of November 2024. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Nisswa, Bruce London is hereby appointed to the Nisswa City Council effective immediately upon approval of this resolution with a term of
Bruce London.
with the term of Bruce London, okay. I was reading that differently.
Mhm.
London's appointment to expire naturally on December 31st, 2024, and with a seat to be subject to the ballot of the city's general election on November of 24. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Congratulations, Bruce. Welcome to
very
the,
much.
welcome on board.
Enjoy working with your people.
Okay.
Excited.
Mr. Whitworth,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much for
Mr.
applying.
Whitworth.
Thank you very
Please
much.
appreciate any involvement. Not yet. So the next item on,
So Mayor Ryan, we will, if you will make a motion to go into closed session, we will take a short recess. We will swear in Mr. London
okay,
and we will do the transition to the closed session.
okay. Now I gotta read all these doggone numbers. No, that's fine. I'd rather be that. I was up too early this morning. Not yet. Oh, no, you're just getting started.
Oh, my
We're
God.
gonna get you sworn in here in just a second. I'd like to make a recommendation to move to closed session pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D subdivision or 0.05 subdivision 3C. Consideration of offer for property purchase for PIDs 282-30540, 282-30538, 282-30533, 282-30532, 282-30535, 282-30531, and 282-30517. Can I get a
second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
We're now in closed session and we'll take a short recess
Yes.
to get Mr. London sworn in.